For nearly 2 decades, the absolute peak of global football was monopolized by just two men. On one side, Lionel Messi redefined what was possible with a football, leaving behind a legacy of World Cups, Ballon d'Ors, and scoring records. On the other, Cristiano Ronaldo transformed himself into a machine of physical dominance, setting a standard for professional consistency that commanded the sport's attention. But as they moved into the later stages of their careers, the sport faced a void. A new icon was needed to carry the global game, and the pressure on any successor was immense. Succeeding them demands a specific kind of mental resilience, the ability to survive the weight of global expectation without collapsing. The answer to that test started in Bondy, a suburb of Paris. Kylian Mbappé grew up entirely immersed in the sport, raised by a father who worked as a football coach and a mother who competed as a professional athlete. From an early age, scouts could clearly see he had a blistering pace that simply couldn't be taught. He possessed the kind of speed that left veteran defenders standing completely still. That physical advantage immediately drew the attention of the local football scene. Whispers started circulating about a kid whose talent was too massive for his age group. Academies across Europe are filled with fast teenagers. The real question was whether this specific kid from Bondy had the mental armor to survive the transition to the professional stage and eventually lead the sport. That transition happened rapidly during the 2016 to 2017 season. As a teenager, Mbappé joined AS Monaco and forced his way into the starting lineup. He didn't ease into professional play. He accelerated through it, blowing past experienced defenders and helping secure the Ligue 1 title for his club. At the exact same time, he arrived on the elite European stage, driving Monaco all the way to the Champions League semi-finals. This explosive breakout triggered an enormous transfer to Paris Saint-Germain, a move that came with a massive price tag and an immediate spike in pressure. At a mega club, every pass, every single sprint, and every single mistake would be scrutinized by a demanding fan base and aggressive media cycle. Yet he appeared entirely unaffected by the noise. He answered his critics by scoring at a relentless pace and securing domestic trophy after domestic trophy. Instead of buckling under the heavy spotlight of Europe's elite, he used it to accelerate his development, showing a rare willingness to embrace the expectations placed on him. But club football is one thing. The 2018 FIFA World Cup presented an entirely different, highly unforgiving test, a stage that has historically exposed unproven players. At just 19 years old, he didn't hide. He took over, delivering stunning, high-stakes performances against global powerhouses like Argentina and Croatia. Under the maximum pressure of the World Cup final, he stepped up to score, helping France lift the trophy and cement their place at the top of the sport. Scoring in the final of a World Cup is a feat that eludes almost every professional. For a teenager, the historical precedent is extremely rare. By finding the back of the net that day, he became only the second teenager in history to achieve the feat, matching a record set decades earlier by a true titan of the sport. Delivering a championship on the sport's most difficult stage established his status as an athlete built to thrive under extreme pressure. In the years following that World Cup triumph, Mbappé refused to be categorized as a simple speed merchant. He aggressively refined his game. His profile expands massively beyond a standard forward, combining elite finishing, tactical intelligence, and supreme confidence to become football's most complete attacker. Yet his most vital asset isn't on a stat sheet: the psychological capacity to consistently deliver in the most unforgiving moments. That precise ability, the guarantee that a player will perform when everything is on the line, is exactly what separates a great player from an era-defining legend. By the early 2020s, the public perception of Mbappé shifted. He became the undisputed leader of French football. When the national team falls behind, veteran teammates look directly to him to change the momentum. When millions of fans need hope in a crucial match, they expect him to provide it. His influence quickly outgrew the pitch. He became a cultural symbol, a figure whose voice and actions carry weight far beyond the boundaries of sport. Even the French head of state has publicly praised his importance to the country, cementing his unique position as a central pillar of national pride. Today, he is expected to challenge for every Ballon d'Or, collect every major trophy, and carry the French national team forward. The trajectory of Kylian Mbappé reflects a profound acceptance of responsibility. By shouldering the expectations of an entire nation, the boy from Bondi successfully claimed the vacant throne of world football. For 15 years, the absolute peak of world football was occupied by one man. But as age finally catches up to Lionel Messi, a massive power vacuum is opening at the very top of the sport. Along with Cristiano Ronaldo, these two didn't occasionally share the spotlight. They hoarded it. They monopolized the global narrative, the trophies, and the records, leaving virtually no room for anyone else at the summit. But the global football machine requires a singular focal point to drive its massive economy and fan interest. With the old guard stepping aside, the search for an undisputed heir has officially begun. The clear frontrunner is Kylian Mbappé. He arrives at this moment with a baseline resume most players would consider a completed career. He already holds a World Cup trophy and commands a massive global audience. His recent transfer to Real Madrid serves as a mandatory ascension. This is the ultimate club stage necessary to build the kind of historic legacy the sport's highest throne demands. Yet winning domestic titles in Spain is only the baseline expectation. To completely dominate this generation, true greatness requires carrying the immense, unforgiving weight of the French national team. The French national team is a highly engineered athletic monolith, featuring elite depth at every position. That structural advantage relies on absolute physical control in the center of the pitch, anchored heavily by Aurélien Tchouaméni. They complement that control with the relentless energy and adaptability of Eduardo Camavinga, allowing the midfield to suffocate opponents. Behind them stands a fortified defense, locked down by players like William Saliba. This backline serves as the concrete foundation for their aggressive attacks. However, raw talent alone can become static in the highest stakes environments. Without a leader to synchronize these individual stars, when a match goes off script, even the most expensive systems are vulnerable to a collapse. We saw exactly how crucial that individual synchronization is during the 2022 World Cup final against Argentina. It was the ultimate extreme stress test of Mbappe's ability to lead. Down 2 goals with 10 minutes left, the French system was failing. Mbappé attuned the squad's absolute tactical and emotional lifeline, dragging his teammates back into the fight. He delivered a historic hat-trick on the sport's absolute biggest stage. It showcased a rare ability to flip the game's scoreline in the blink of an eye, forcing a world-class defense into total disarray. France lost that final on penalty kicks, yet even in defeat, Mbappé proved he possesses the unquantifiable strength required to shoulder the hopes of a nation when standard game plans collapse. He is now entering his physical prime, supported by a French coaching staff specifically structured to maximize his direct impact on the pitch. But the path to another trophy is blocked by a fiercely hostile global landscape. Argentina remains an eternal, proven threat, capable of completely dismantling any opposition. England is fielding a heavily talented, deeply hungry generation of players, desperate to break their decades-long championship drought. Spain has rapidly developed a highly technical core of young stars, who are quickly reviving the nation's dominant possession style. And the Brazilian squad arrives at every major tournament with perennial, championship or bust ambitions. For them, anything less than lifting the trophy is a failure. Amidst this international gauntlet, Mbappé holds one distinct advantage over his peers. He is a tested entity. He has already survived and thrived in the most suffocating, high-pressure environments the sport can offer. Leading France to a second World Cup victory before the age of 30 would elevate his resume beyond the reach of any modern contemporary. It is the final achievement needed to validate a legacy that rivals the all-time legends of the game. If he manages to lift that gold trophy once again, millions of fans won't simply be watching a tournament win. They will be witnessing the undeniable, real-time coronation of football's next great king.